Building with build mode CC is a whole new ball game, and just to be clear, it's a little bit of an overwhelming ball game for me, if I'm being honest. So I decided to tackle my first build with CC being an apartment. So we are in the Stone Street Apartments, which is in what is that place called? Evergreen Harbor. I love these apartments. I actually have one of my current households living in these apartments, just one that I kind of play off cam, if I can even say that, as little old me. But yeah, so I decided to download build mode CC, and I was holding off because I knew once I started, I would not be able to stop, which, to be clear, I think is what has happened. This build took me probably 10 times longer than building a home from scratch. And that's because I was scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and doing a little more scrolling for good measure, just to make sure I had every single thing I could ever want for this home. It's pretty intense once you get the build mode CC. I'd like to think I kind of get the hype now because I've never really been one to have build mode CC. I'll either do no CC, just vanilla gameplay, or I will load up on the CAS CC, which we all know I have found a new love for CAS CC. But I think now that I'm here, I'm going full in, browsing Tumblr every day. Patreon, I'm there. You released a new build mode CC pack? Okay, great. I'm downloading it. But that's just my opinion. I love the customizableness of build mode CC because I think, as you've seen from any of my Let's Plays or builds, I just love a home to feel lived in. Not necessarily cluttered. This one I'd say it's pretty cluttered. But I just wanted to feel personal to the Sims that are living there. And not just like a cookie cutter, you just moved in, because before you know it, your sim went from a young adult to an elder in that house, and it looks the same as day one. And I just want my Sims to feel like they belong and have a home. So that's just my personal way of building, and I feel like having CC allows me to really capture the personality of my Sims and their home. So I'm obsessed. Yes. Now, a little bit about this apartment is I wanted a very tight apartment. I wanted it to feel more old, very 90s core. This looks like the house I grew up in, if I'm being honest. And I wanted it to be for a pretty large family. They're in no rush or even have the need to move out because maybe their space is small, but by golly, they made it their own. And I think as we continue, you'll really see the family aspects of this home, which I just love. There's little pin boards around with pictures, and they have drawings hung up and little paper crafts, and there's toys everywhere, and it really just feels like a family lives here. So there's 4 kids, a cat, and mom and dad. We have a teenage and a child boy, and a teenage girl and infant girl. So the 2 boys sleep together and the 2 girls sleep together. And then, of course, mom and dad have their room in the back corner. But honestly, I wanted it to feel like this home, they're content here. I don't want it to be like, oh, we're just scraping by. They're not. I imagine this family has everything they need, and they chose to live in this small apartment because it became theirs, and moving would be like, why would we do that? This is our home. So that's why there's so much stuff. Like, I would say they have history living here. They've been here for quite some time, and they transformed it to be theirs. And maybe the cabinets are so old and outdated because they've never moved out to give the landlord time to update the place. But they don't really care because it's cozy, it's warm, and every day they come home and this just screams their family. Like, they belong here, they fit here, and I love the nostalgia that this apartment gives me. Like, oh my goodness, that was my whole goal for this apartment, is I wanted it to feel like the essence of my childhood home. Those cabinets in the kitchen that everybody hates, but the honey colored wood, it's just beautiful. And big curtains and blinds and just things that you wouldn't really see in the modern day home. I wanted this to feel like just the vibe of the home you grew up in. I guess if you're my age, if you're a child these days, maybe you didn't grow up in a home like this, but it just feels so alive and so wholesome, and really just, I kept thinking like, wow, this is so warm and cozy. And that is what I wanted. Full transparency, this took like 3 days for me to furnish, which is just insane. But I'd like to think I will get quicker as time goes on and I learn the CC that I have in my game, rather than it being fresh and new and I'm exploring every single piece to make sure it fits perfectly. One thing in this house, I left a lot of empty frames because I wanted there to be family photos, pictures of the kids, first day of school, our wedding day. Like, that would be my goal and dream for this family. Obviously, I didn't really create Sims to go in here. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. I can't build without having some sort of story behind it. Something special about this apartment is there is toys everywhere. There's the artwork everywhere and it feels homey. But you also have a laundry room. Yes, I went from toys and mess to a laundry room. And that's not something you always have in an apartment, but I felt like it fit perfectly in this little hallway here. And I'm thankful. If you have 4 kids and a cat, I'm pretty sure you're going to be doing some laundry. I'm sure. I do laundry and I have cats for days, no kids, but the cats, that's enough for me. But you do have a laundry room. You have a full shower and bath so you can take a soak bath or bathe your infant. I just love it. And I think something that makes this home feel special is they don't try to hide the fact that they have kids. They have those teeny tiny little towels and the blocks and the stuffed animals and the pictures. And that's how I wanted it to feel. I wanted the colors. I wanted the carpet in the bedrooms, which for me, I'm looking at houses right now to move and I'm like, ugh, carpet in the bedroom, that's nasty. But I grew up with my bedroom having carpet, like it's just a thing that I guess people don't really love anymore. And it's kind of grown out of our current day homes. And like I have hardwood all the way throughout my home right now. And I'm so thankful I do. But I wanted carpets in this apartment. I'm like, yes, it makes sense that we have carpets. And I wanted the layout and the walls and the flooring to feel realistic. Like all the bedrooms have the same carpet. The bathroom and the kitchen have the same tile. And you have the hardwood floors, very plain, very bland, going throughout the rest of the house. And the walls are pretty plain, pretty bland, all the same color. Because I know sometimes when you rent, they don't mind if you paint the walls. However, sometimes they do. So these bedrooms, you just have the color of walls you get. Maybe you have colors, maybe you don't, and that's what you get, and so be it. But we're in the girls' bedroom, and I actually really loved this because intermixing an infant dreamy nursery vibe with a teen daughter discovering herself, I had so much fun. I put a little barrier, like fold up thing in the middle of their room, and just to kind of separate the two. But I feel like this teenage daughter would be like, oh, of course I have to share a room with my baby sister. Like, quite frankly, emphasis on baby. It's an infant. But I think at the end of the day, they're going to be best friends, because would it annoy her that her little sister wakes her up? Probably so, because babies don't always sleep through the night. But I also think like once she hits that toddler age, oh my goodness, I could see them bonding, becoming such great friends, and I just love that for her. But I wanted to give the vibe of a freshly teenage girl. So she kind of has some cutesy posters. Her bedding is still very childhood, like vibes, very girly and young. But the rest of her decor is very like, I'm a teenager. I have posters and vinyls and cool stuff like that. So I just kind of wanted to mix the vibes. I think she's not as old as her brother, but she's still a teenager in my mind. So her brother will become a young adult before she did, and things like that. The parents' bedroom, Not everything in here is functional, as in like there is a table with a sewing machine on it and you obviously can't use that, but I feel like hand-me-downs are a thing this family loves. Big brother grew out of his clothes, great, they go to little brother. And I think this sewing machine is used to repair those little holes in the knees, and the elbows of the long sleeve shirt is ripping because you fell on your scooter or your rollerblades. Great, mom is gonna fix it. And that's just kind of how I felt with this room. Again, I did leave frames empty because I do want those to be filled like with family photos. We have a little cat house in here for the kitten, and there's a computer tucked under this little desk we use. There's an ironing board, which of course isn't functional, but it was only one tile, so they can still walk around it. It was perfect. But I just love the feeling of a home being fully lived in, which I feel like is the vibes here. I think the mom and dad really wanted the one big happy family, and maybe at one point they wanted a home with a pool, a place they could have a slip and slide and barbecues and neighbors and all of that. But I actually have a little bit of like a story in mind for their apartment neighbor, which I'm super excited to go furnish that apartment. I want to give it the same layout, just opposite, because these are the 2 top floor apartments, and for me it makes sense that it's the same layout, different vibes, different style. Maybe it's been even longer since that one's been updated, but anyways, we're in the boys' room now. It's very green. I wanted it to feel like a teenager and child meshed together. So little brother takes the top bunk, big bro takes the bottom bunk, and that's that. But there's skateboards and there's blocks because there's still a kid here, and there's homework and just stuff. But anyways, we're just about to the end of this build. I have some screenshots if you want to see some more details of this build that maybe you missed, because I am speeding through this because truly this was like hours of footage. So she is on speed 7.59 just to get through this in just over 10 minutes. But anyways, I had so much fun. I'm excited to do more builds like this, and I do hope you enjoyed as much as I did. And who knows, maybe there'll be a family in here one day. I guess we'll have to see. Bye, you guys.